I figured out how the sequoia trees get so big and I'm never going into the forest again at night. My seasonal employment contract has been renewed as a park ranger at the Sequoia National Park. My job is fairly simple, where I work the graveyard shift for 6 months out of the year and I primarily make sure that no one is messing with the giant sequoia trees, hunting, or camping illegally. The hardest part of my job is staying awake, because now that I'm 33 years old, I'm finding it harder and harder to stay awake past midnight. The forest plays tricks on my mind sometimes, where I swear I'll see something and when I go investigate, I discover that there's actually nothing there. It's the beginning of August and the weather is unseasonably cold at night. I tried to take a nap before coming into work tonight, but all I did was toss and turn for several hours. As I drove close to the General Sherman tree, which is the largest tree per volume in the world, I squint my eyes because it looks like a group of people are walking up towards the tree. I park my truck and follow a good distance behind the group of people. The moonlight is bright enough where I could see that there are about 6 people that are short in stature with stocky builds. They all have long black hair and are wearing what looks like animal pelts for clothing. I'm not sure if these people are part of some type of cult or something else, as 2 of them are carrying a larger object that is wrapped in a blanket, that looks to be over 5 feet long. I keep my distance from what I determine is to be a group of men and I don't intervene because they outnumber me 6 to 1 and so far they haven't done anything harmful to the forest. My job is fairly simple, but if anything happens to the General Sherman tree on my watch or any of the other trees that are thousands of years old, then I could be held criminally negligent for not performing my required job duties. The 6 men stop at the General Sherman tree and the 2 men put the object they were carrying down on the wood fence post that acts as a tourist barrier around the tree. It's 1:30 a.m. and the forest is dead silent besides whatever noise these people are making. I notice that the object that is wrapped in a blanket is flailing around as it might be a deer or an elk, but I can't tell because it's wrapped in the blanket. The 6 men all cross over the wooden fence posts, as I cower behind a nearby sequoia tree out of sight from them. Something doesn't feel right with what's going on, but I'm too afraid to radio for help for fear that they might hear me. 2 of the men unwrap the blanket as I'm shocked to see that it's a white man wearing nothing but his underwear, where his arms and legs are tied together and his mouth is gagged shut. The men start to do a ceremonial chant around the General Sherman tree as it becomes abundantly clear that the 6 men are a part of a Native American tribe. Even with the Native American chants, I can still hear the white man moaning through whatever is stuffed in his mouth. Whatever is going on doesn't look good as I radio my coworker Rick. "Rick, it's me Ted. Come in," I say in my lowest voice possible. After a few seconds, I don't hear anything, so I radio him again. "Rick, listen, it's me Ted, I need to talk to you right now." Again I wait a few more seconds and I don't hear anything. I'm extremely afraid as I can't stop my legs from shaking. Obviously there's some type of criminal act going on, which includes kidnapping at the very least, and if these Native Americans see or hear me then I'll likely be tied up as well. "What's up Ted? It's me Rick," I hear in the lowest possible setting on my radio. "Listen Rick, I'm here looking at the General Sherman tree and there's something really bizarre going on. I really need you to come down here as quickly as possible." I whisper in my lowest tone possible, while still being able to be heard. "I can, but it'll take me 20 to 30 minutes to get there." "That's fine. But hurry up." The vigor of the Native American chants seemed to pick up as if they were at a Rage Against the Machine concert. I can see the man on the ground flailing around more aggressively as he could sense something bad is about to happen. Just when the Native Americans are at the pinnacle of their aggressiveness, when it comes to circling the tree and chanting, then they all decide to stop, where the white man is on the ground, which is also where there's a natural opening in the tree, that is easily 6 feet in height. As I look around the forest, I confirm that most sequoia trees have this same natural opening. One of the Native Americans, who might be the designated leader or their medicine man, but is definitely the most vocal, then faces the tree and puts both of his hands up to the sky. The 5 other natives, at this point, are now on their knees with their hands stretched out forwards on the ground. The Native American leader continues to perform his sermon, with such vigor that could only be matched by a WWF wrestler from back in the 80s. I'm doing everything possible not to pee my pants, as deep down inside, I know I should be doing something, but I also know that I have no chance of confronting the 6 men, who are deep into their ritual. Just as the leader hits his highest chance, I see lightning and hear thunder in the sky, which is a bit rare in these parts of the woods and can cause a forest fire, because of the natural dryness of the area. As the lightning and thunder continues, the vocal leader stops chanting as 2 of the Native Americans pick up the man off the ground. The man is really flailing around now, like a shark out of water, and his moans are as loud as a professional tennis star during a serve. The two men place the man inside the tree opening as the thunder and lightning really seems to intensify. "Stop it!" I yell out, at the top of my lungs. The 6 Native Americans look around to see where my yell came from. I get as low to the tree as possible to get out of sight, as I start to see 5 of the men cross back over the wooden protective fence posts, as the one vocal leader remains by the opening of the tree with his hands raised up into the sky. I continue to press myself as close and low to the tree as possible, as I can hear the men trying to find me. My heart is now beating uncontrollably through my chest as I need Rick or some type of miracle to save me. After what feels like an eternity, but was probably no more than a few minutes, the Native American vocal leader yells something out and the 5 men come back towards him. My breathing starts to slow down, as my mind is still overwhelmed with the panic that I had just endured. I peek to the side of the tree and I see the Native Americans all touching the General Sherman tree with both of their hands as the thunder and lightning continues its orchestral display of violence in the sky. Then a few seconds later they release their hands from the tree as the thunder and lightning abruptly stops. All 6 of them climb back over the wooden fence posts and walk into the forest. I wait a minute until I know for sure that they're gone, then I cautiously walk towards the tree. I make sure the Native Americans are out of sight and I head towards the opening of the tree, where the man was placed inside. As I get closer to the tree, I don't see the man in the opening of the tree. "What the hell?" I say out loud. I continue to look up and down the opening, but the only things I see are 2 pieces of rope and a piece of cloth that I'm guessing was shoved in his mouth. At this time, I see Rick's park ranger truck pulling with his blue and red flashing lights on. It takes him a couple of minutes to walk towards the General Sherman tree, so I walk around the tree to see where that man might have went and I still see no sign of him.